see how to handle the missing data using Pandas in Python. Before I am going to tell you about the data handling mechanism, first we should know what is data analysis. Data analysis is the process of collecting, cleaning, organizing and interpreting the data to get some meaningful insights from those collected data. It helps us to make some informed decisions and helps to solve some real world problems. And then what is the objectives of this data analysis is, we could be able to discover some useful information and it will help us to support in decision making process. It can also help in predicting the future outcomes and it will also help us to understand the behaviors and performance. To properly handle all those analysis process, first the data should be a clean one. So the first and foremost task in data analysis is collecting the data from any data source. The next one, when we go for coding wise, we have to follow the step of cleaning the data which has some missing values. So what is missing data? The absence of some values in a given data set. How does this absence of data occur? It may be due to the collection of data from a survey. Some people, some user, he may not give the input data in the survey. Or we could have some IoT devices for data collection, and if an error occurs in that IoT device, then there may be a possibility for missing data. We can also have a transaction log for data analysis process, and during the transaction log we may have some missing data. So these are all the possible ways where we have collecting the data which may have some missing data. So our duty is to collect the data and then the first step is to clean those data which has some missing values. So why we need to handle this missing data? So what are the importance? First we have to prevent the bias that is available in your data. So if an incomplete data is there, then the analysis may lead to some bias. The next one is, if we want to have the model performance to be high, then our data should be a cleaned one. So cleaning process should be taken place before giving the data to a model. Then the next one is data integrity. It has to ensure some consistent and meaningful data representation so that we could have some informed decisions in a proper way. So these are all the things that make the importance for the missing data handling mechanism. So now let us see how we are going to handle this missing data with the help of Python. And here the possibility for using the methods are dropping the missing value or either we have to fill the missing value. These two methods can be applied on the data so that the missing values could be replaced. So for a demonstration purpose, I have brought some data which is available in a CSV file. For simplicity, I have kept name, age and score, and here Ali's record is having complete data, the name, age and score. But when you come to the next data, the age factor is missing here. In the next record, the score value is missing. Next we are having a complete data for David, and for Eve we are having a age data which is missing. So this is an example for some missing data and this is placed in a CSV file. Next I will show you some coding in Python to handle this CSV file and then handle the missing data with the help of some methods. So what should be the steps followed for handling these missing data are, first and foremost step, we have to bring those data into the Python environment. So first I have to import the required libraries that are available for that CSV file processing, and then I have to load the data. After loading the data into the Python environment, I have to identify whether this data set has some missing values. Then I have to decide either I am going to drop the values from the data or I am going to fill the missing values. If I want to drop the values from the data set, then Either I can follow these things, either I can drop where any data is missing in a row. I can drop either any one data. If it is missing in a row, then I can drop the complete record, or I have to drop if all the data is missing. It depends upon the constraint that in what application and in what column factor you are going to work matters about the dropping of either row or all data if it is missing. The next one is you can drop the particular row or column if it doesn't have any value. Or I can do other thing is, if some more number of columns is missing, some or many number of columns has missing data, then I can drop it. So this could be done with helping, this could be done by setting the threshold value in dropping. The next one is filling the missing values in the data. For filling the missing values, I can use either I can fill the data with some constant value, or I can forward fill with the some other values available in the data set, or I can go for a backward fill, or I can fill using the mean or median. Let me abbreviate this with the help of some code in the upcoming slides. So the first step for handling the data is I have to import the necessary libraries and I have to load the data. So here the Pandas is the main library, because when I am bringing a CSV file into a Python environment, I have to load that CSV file into a data frame which is available in the Pandas library. So here I have used import Pandas as PD. Hereafter I will use PD for my alias name as Pandas. The next one is I have to load the data. So to load the data, here we are having a CSV file. So I have to use the method read_CSV to read the CSV file. So this is available inside the Pandas library. So I am using pd.readCSV of, I am giving the name of the CSV file. Then I have printed the data frame. So this will be the output of the data frame. So here near Bob I am having one column age which is having a missing value. For Charlie the score is missing, and for Eve the age is missing. So this is the way to load the data into your Python environment. Next I have to find where the missing data is with the help of the function called isNull. So I have to use the function called isNull. Since it is a Boolean function, isNull is a Boolean function, so it will say either true or false for all the values. So here is the output which will be obtained if I am using df.isNull. So here the false says that there is no missing value. Here the true, it implies that the age factor in this particular row is missing. Here for the record 2, the score is missing. Here for the record 4, age is missing. So here we are having the missing values, and this could be found using the isNull function. And to find the count of that how many missing values is available in each and every column, here we have used isNull.SumOf. This SumOf function will find how many values are missing and it will give the count values. So this is the output. In name you don't have any missing value. In age, for 2 records you have a age missing value, and for score you have 1 record as missing value. So we have found out how many records are there missing in this particular data. Next, what is the step? We have to clean this data. Either you can drop the values or you can fill the values. Let me teach you how to drop the values from this data frame, and we could also apply how to fill these values in the data frame. So first, to drop the missing values, I have to use the function called dropNA. DropNA function is used to drop the missing values in your data frame. And these are all the parameters available in that dropNA function. The first one is axis equal to 0. This will concentrate on the rows. If I am giving axis equal to 1, then this will drop the column values. And the next parameter is how. Here I have given how is equal to any. This will be default, and I can also use how is equal to all. When I use how is equal to all, it will drop the row which is having all columns having missing values. Then the next one is thresh. This will say about the threshold. If I am giving some minimum number of values here, threshold is equal to 2, then it will find where the column is having 2 missing values and then it will drop that particular row. The next one parameter is subset. Here you can have the name of the columns. You can specify the names of the columns in your subset so that if that particular column is having the missing value, then only the drop function will work. Or you are having another parameter as in place. In place is equal to false. This will, if I am changing that in place to true, then if any changes has been made in that particular data frame, then it will occur in that original data frame itself. That is, modification will be carried out in the original data frame itself. Then I have to specify in place is equal to true. These are all the parameters available in drop NA function, which will help us to drop the values, row values from the data frame. Here I have given the statements for it. First one is drop NA. This will help us to apply this how is equal to any. This is the default thing. So, if a row is having any one of the column values in a particular row has a missing value, then that particular row gets removed. So, this will happen for this drop NA. And for drop NA, and I am passing the parameter how it is equal to all, then this will drop the rows which is having all values are of the form missing values, that is NaN, non values. And the next example is thresh is equal to 2. This keeps only the row with at least 2 null values. It will have 2, at least it will find whether the given number is 2. So at least 2 non-null values if it is have, it will keep that rows, and more than 2 rows if it is having, more than 2 columns if you are having the null values, then it will drop that particular row. Next, here I have given the subset is equal to age and score. So this will help us to find whether there is a missing value in age column or in the score column. If there is a missing values in these 2 columns alone, then the drop function will work on it. If there is some non-null values in other rows, then this drop will not work. So the next one is drop NA axis equal to 1. So this will have work on column values which is having that missing value. Here again the example given is in place is equal to true. This will apply the changes directly to the original data frame. The next one is to handle the missing data is fill the missing data. This could be done with the help of fill NA function. So fill NA of is a function which will help us to fill the missing values in a particular data frame. So here again we are having many parameters available in this fill NA, which is having value is equal to none. It will give either, this value can have either a scalar value, a dictionary values, or it is from series, or it is from a data frame. These values can be kept in this value field, and that particular missing value will be replaced with this value. Here I can use, I have already said that about the forward fill, backward fill, all these are the methods available inside your missing value function. So here method is equal to none. If I am not giving any method, just the value will get replaced. If I am giving method is equal to any one of the forward fill or backward fill, then it will work according to that method. Then the axis, it will be 0 for rows and 1 for columns. Here again in this function also you are having in place, which will work on that original data frame. Limit is equal to null. We can find whether any consecutive non-null values are there in data frame. Then I can set the limit for that for filling those values. So let me say you some example statements for fill NA. Here fill NA of 0. What happens here? If your data set is having some missing values, then it will be filled with 0. Here fill NA, I have said in the previous thing, here this value could be either a dictionary, it can be scalar or it can be series. So here is an example. Here I have given a dictionary which is having age 20 and score 50. This way also you can fill the particular empty value in your data set. Here if you are having data frame which is having two age values as NaN values, then it will be replaced with 20. If a score is having a non-null values, then it will be considered as 50. So you can use a dictionary to fill the values. The next one is method. I am using the parameter method in your fill NA method, and here the value is ffill. This means it is a forward fill. So if there is a particular value, it is available in your data frame, it will find where are the null values available and it will start filling forward. If a null value appears in a second row, then if you are having a previous row which is having some value, that value will get filled in your second row data. The same way for backward fill, if a second value is missing, it will fill the data from the third row. So that will occur with the help of backward fill. These two methods will help us to find the nearmost value in your data frame and start filling those values. And the next one is here limit 1. So consecutive, if you are having only one non-null values, then that filling process alone will take place here using the forward fill method. Let me show you the answer what will happen for your forward fill and backward fill. Here is an input data. Here Bob has a non-null value. Null values. Charlie has the score null values. Eve has the age as none values. Here using the forward fill mechanism, here the Bob is having the value from Alice and Eve is having the value from David. So it is applying that forward fill mechanism to fill these values, missing values. Here for the backward fill, here Bob is having a missing value which is replaced from Charlie's value, and Eve again it is having a NaN value because this is the last row which doesn't have next to it any other values. So again a missing value is there in your backward fill. So this is an example for your forward fill and backward fill. Then the other method is you can apply the mean value for filling the missing values. So here to calculate the mean, here age mean calculated by adding 23, 22 and 24 and dividing 23, 22 and 24 and dividing it by 3, you are getting the value 23. So for all missing age values, 23 will be replaced. Here Bob is having 23 value and Eve is also having 23 value. For mean score, again the mean value has been calculated. It is around 86.25 and it gets replaced for Charlie's score value. So this is the way how mean works for filling the missing value. So if you are handling this missing values, then you can get the analysis in a proper way. So thank you.